Hey everybody, it's Kit here. Happy Wednesday and welcome back to the Brooks Legacy. We are still with Marin for this week. I think next week we will be going to other people. I don't know. I'm Tumblr. Tumblr sucks. Really regret my choices on that one. Oh my god. But it's okay. So, this is Marin's birthday, so that's exciting. That's great. Sorry, can you hear the stress in my voice? Tumblr is stressing me out. I'm actually having to just take a few pictures out of my folder and rewrite a paragraph about those few pictures. And I'm doing that for every single one. And if I leave it for too long, then it automatically goes all the way back up, which I had to scroll so far down to find these. Very annoying. So I have no idea how long this is gonna go, and I actually don't know exactly what's gonna happen other than it's her birthday, because I'm only on the first four pictures. So I'm going to be recording and then writing and then recording and then writing. Happy hump day! Save me, holy crap. Alrighty. So that being said, I hope you enjoy this because oh my god, it hadn't felt like work up until this point. This feels like work. Alright, let's just get on the road, shall we? Marin's birthday snuck up on her quicker than she expected. To be honest, she was kind of dreading it. It would be her first one without her family. When the day came, she saved up what pennies she had and got herself a cake. On the one hand, she was glad to be an adult, but on the other, everything sucked. Her little brother, her mom and dad, her cousins and uncle and aunt, they should be here, she thought, but they weren't. So she pretended they were, holding their memories close to her heart and soul, smiled, and transitioned into young adulthood. Happy birthday, Mar! Ah, our first of Generation 3 to reach adulthood. Marin didn't want to, but she caved and went to meet her neighbor finally. She figured it was better to know who was around her, and besides, she was a young adult now. Her neighbor's name was Kit, and Kit seemed rather pleased about nothing. And she could use Kit's mirror. That may or may not have been her entire goal of going to meet the neighbor. Could she have used the mirror at a public lot? Sure. She just didn't think about that. Surviving on a beach is harder than the movies, and research made it look for sure. She didn't have a job. She pretty much just swam everywhere and fished for her dinner. Sometimes the stress of her situation got to be too much, but no one but the birds, crabs, and fish heard her frustration. What money she could make was from selling fish and gatherable items to passing trade boats for the mainland. They liked to fleece her, but they were her only customers until she got an aqua vehicle to traverse the islands better. Boat taxis were expensive, but that vehicle was very low on her list of priorities. Some progress was being made, though. She had managed to save up enough to get a toilet and the beginnings of a wall. It was a start, at least. She was even able to make a darn good fish dinner. Sometimes, anyway. Plus, she had a woodworking bench now for more money-making opportunities. Call her Marin the Handy Woman. Well, not everything was hunky-dory, alright. Sometimes the fire got out of control, and her dinner got toasted along with her chair. It happened far too often for her liking. So when that did happen, and she had a little extra money or didn't want fruit or veggies, she went to the Beach Shack Diner for dinner. It was usually always a good meal, and tonight she decided to try an adult beverage. Not bad. It was early the next morning that a little albino fox appeared on Marin's island. Where he had come from or how he had got here was unknown, but he was here all the same. His nose led him straight to the girl, who smelled like she showered in the ocean. A few barks woke her up. Marin stumbled out of her tent in confusion. What could be making those noises? It reminded her of bread? When she discovered the sick fox, she was even more confused. Why was there a fox like her uncle's here? She had lived here for a week and had not seen a single fox or any animal like it, especially not here. He had to have just shown up. But how? Hey there, little fella. What's up with you? What are you doing here? Your nose is bright red. You need a vet, don't you? Yeah, Marin wouldn't be able to get him to one. The only one she knew of was in Brindleton Bay. But still, she could give him some attention. He seemed rather needy. Maybe she could talk to someone about him, getting him to someone who could help. The rest of her day was as normal as it could be, but she enjoyed having someone else to talk to, even if it was a little fox. Sulani was all about the slow life. Swimming, living, existing in whatever way you wanted. It was something she really enjoyed. Otoni was back in the neighborhood today, and when she saw him waving at her, Marin took a swim break. Hey you, Marin, right? Hey Otoni, and yep, it's Marin. How are you? Nerves were aflutter in her stomach as she got closer to him. Pretty good. The waters are warmer today than they have been. Gotta love winter, right? Yeah, it's a nice change. She realized she might be able to talk to him about the fox. Hey, Tony, uh, is there a vet or animal specialist around here? A fox showed up this morning. He's sick. He clucked his tongue, and Marin swore she heard a weird echoing sound. Or a screech? But it was there one moment and gone the next. Oof, a fox, you say? Can't say I've ever seen any of those around here. Or really ever. They aren't native to here. Maybe someone dumped him. Poor thing. There aren't any vets around, but I'll ask around and see if I can find anybody. Cell reception is a bit spotty out here, as I am sure you figured out. We gotta take care of our own. Marin knew the islands were a bit of a dead zone, which is part of why she had picked here to run away to. Yes, Sulani is a bit cut off from the mainland, but if you can find a wellness treat or somebody willing to part with one, I'll buy it, okay? He needs some medicine and someone to take care of him. Tony nodded, beginning to jog away. Gotcha, Mar. I'll keep an eye out. In the meantime, good luck. I hear foxes can be a bit temperamental. After she finished her morning chores in the sculpture, she put on her fresher, air quotes, aired out clothes and dared a long swim to the other island. She knew wellness treats were expensive, and she barely had enough to cover it, so no boat taxi today. It was there that she saw another interesting islander. The same square jaw like a Tony, and the same sort of weird shimmer to his skin. Not that she looked at a Tony that hard, alright? 'Cause she didn't. He was just a nice guy. Oh, but the islander was Kaleo Moho, Tony's father. That made sense. She ended up actually stopping by their home for a bit after he said she should stop by. Tony might have info for that fox of yours. He's been asking everybody. Is the little guy alright? He seems to be. His nose isn't bright red anymore, so I'll take that as a good sign. It was dinner time, and they invited her, and she gratefully accepted, bearing the big part of her, that felt embarrassed. Sulani was changing her, slowly but surely. She also got to meet his other son, Kai. The dinner was amazing, and she paid attention to the cooking pit they had. It looked easy to build. Maybe she could make one and bring them dinner sometime. The islands took care of their own, and slowly, without Marin realizing it, she was part of that ecosystem too. Oh, hey Marin, I sometimes go to the mainland, so next time I'll grab you a wellness treat for that fox, okay? I think I'll be going in a few days. Need any supplies for him otherwise? Kai was just as kind and helpful as the rest of his family, instantly putting her at ease. No, I did manage to get some bowls for him, from the garbage that washed ashore. They both shared a grimace. He's munching on apples and carrots just fine and seems okay with fish, but I can't take care of him, you know? I'm trying to get things in order. It's just not fair to him. So if you hear of anyone who can take him, send them my direction, please. I really appreciate this, Kai. Before she could manage to leave, a Tony, Noea, and a younger girl came home for dinner. Marin! Welcome to our home, sweetie! Noea gushed, instantly smiling brightly upon seeing her visitor. Hey, Mar, glad to see you. How's the island life treating you, plus a fox? Tony grinned, and once again there were the dumb nerves bouncing in her stomach. Not too bad, fox included. Hey, any leads on a fox specialist or an animal shelter? Anything? He just shook his head. Not yet, but we'll find a solution for sure. Hi, I'm these doofuses' younger and better sister, Nalani. I've heard tons about you, Nalani ribbed her brother. Have not, Tony said immediately, and the sibling bickery was on. Oh dear, not over dinner. There they go. Noea sighed and rolled her eyes. Eat up, children, come on. Kalea, you know you shouldn't wait for all of us. Not you, Marin. Not you, dear. No. My husband, on the other hand, yes. The visit was great, but while Marin made some great friends, it just made her miss her family even more. So say, what made you move out here, hun? Noea asked gently during dinner. Marin's heart thudded in her chest. Well, my family is a bit... She struggled to find the right words. Overbearing? Intimidating? Both weren't true, but the shadow attached to the name was, at least for Marin. My family is great, but our legacy is a bit much at times, and I just wanted a fresh start, to step away from it, find my own way. And let's just say finding my own way hasn't been as easy as I expected. She laughed, and they all smiled knowingly. Families can be rough. It can be difficult to leave everything you know for another life, Kaleo said. Hey, I think you are doing great. Your tent is looking great and all. I dig the garden you have going, Tony grinned. Nalani rolled her eyes again, giggling. Gee, stalk her much, bro? How do you know what her tent and garden look like? Oh, shut up, sis. Ignore them. They'll be at it all night, Kai nudged her, grinning as the bickering ensued. One night of peace. I would just love that, Noea sighed, but smiled at her children. The rest of the night was filled with laughter, good food, and making memories. The days following that evening were uneventful, but Marin was doing well, finally. Having that night with the Mohos was invigorating and had restored her confidence in so many ways. They hadn't been able to help her with Oak, as she had dubbed him, because foxes belonged in forests, and forests had oak trees, right? So, yeah. Hopefully soon Tony, Kai, or somebody could find a vet or an animal specialist that could take Oak off of her incapable hands. But in the meantime, she'd do her best to take care of him. At least Uncle Andy had read, so she kind of knew a few things about foxes. She just worried about growing too attached, or Oak growing too attached to her. She was already fond of the fella. But that was a problem for later. The important thing is that Marin finally felt like she could do this. She could. She was. There was nowhere to go but up, and she was climbing. Until next time. Yay! First post from Tumblr done. That actually wasn't as bad, but the blog definitely was a lot easier. One down. God knows how many to go. Woo! But that's a problem for next week. Me, because that is the end of our Brooks Legacy posts for this week. I do believe it looks like we're going to have Kaysen with his birthday and Andy on deck next week. I'm probably going to do Andy on Tuesday and then Kaysen, not because of like age or whatever. It doesn't really matter, honestly, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So yeah. And we're honestly just going to play it by ear. We're just going to kind of go with whatever the posts are because I kind of but don't really remember what was going on back then. I need reminders, and that would be what the posts are. So, yep. We're playing Russian roulette now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this week of Marin and Sulani. I was having such a blast, and special shout out to G Lovely on Twitter/X and also on the Sims 4 gallery. I don't remember her whole gallery ID, but that's a big part of her name. Ow. Sorry, swallowed wrong. Yeah, she is the one who actually made the mohos for me, and I am so grateful because they have ended up being a very integral part of Marin's story, as you will see continuing on. I'm sure some of y'all can probably already guess, but you know, hey, enjoy the story, right? I love them to absolute pieces, and yeah, so thank you so very, very much. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think I'm repeating myself, so I'm gonna go now. Yeah, so thank you all so very much for watching. I really appreciate anyone who tunes into these. And have a great rest of the week. And we'll be back with the Brooks next week. So, yeah. Bye, guys. And don't forget, where the water's slow, legacies grow.